Oh my gosh, Eagle Nation. It is only the first week of May, and we are getting teasers like this. I'm ready for season mode. I'm ready to run through a wall right now. Eagles page posting this on Twitter. Better get used to it. And it's a clip of Jalen Hurts handing it off to Saquon Barkley. I can get used to that. I can get used to seeing that a whole lot more. I can already envision it, man. It's game day. Hurts the snap, hands it off to Saquon Barkley. Barkley breaks a tackle, breaks two. He's at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Eagles. And the Eagles jump out to an early lead here in the first quarter. I can definitely get used to this. And, man, hopefully we get a lot more of these. But welcome on in, Eagle Nation. It is A to Z Sports Philly. You know what to do. Hit the thumbs up and support the show. Hit that subscribe button. You guys have been picking us up big time as we continue to have you covered with all Eagles news throughout the offseason. And speaking of picking up, the Eagles picked up a corner. May not know who he is, but hey, could he be a little hidden gem? We'll talk about that, as well as some quotes that were made by an Eagles certain someone in this secondary, and we'll talk about a whole bunch more. Give me your thoughts on this new and improved secondary down below in the comments section. And before we jump into my thoughts, a shout out to our sponsor of today's video, and it is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. With BetMGM, you get instant access to parlay selections, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever, so find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. If you were a betting man or woman right now, what would you bet is going to be the stat line for Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley this year? Give me your thoughts down below. Let's talk about a certain someone that was picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. Shout out to Jake Rabadai, says the Eagles are signing cornerback Shon Stevens. Sources told Liberty Line PHL. Stevens was a player that Philly showed lots of interest in throughout the draft process and even invited him to the rookie minicamp. Stevens impressed and earned himself a spot on the 90-man roster. In addition to that, Philadelphia Eagles Central says the Eagles are signing West Liberty cornerback Shon Stevens. He was an AFCA All-American and had 8 interceptions in both the 2022 and 23 seasons. Now, a little bit undersized, comes from a smaller school. People don't know who he is, but I like giving guys like this a chance. Honestly, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know him up and down, but you look at the stats, you look at the performance, you look at this guy, and he's fighting for a roster spot somewhere, right? He's probably hungry, so why not bring in more competition, more bodies? Obviously, you spend your top draft assets on Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, so it's not likely that Shon Stevens is going to make the roster, but hey, from researching, looking him up a little bit, he looks like a freakish athlete. This guy looks like he is ready to go out there and compete and just try to make a little name for himself. So shout out to Shon Stevens. His track record is impressive over the last couple years. And like Jake said here, Eagles showed interest in him and they invited him. So, hey, he gets a chance. We'll see what he can do and see if he can, make a little bit of noise here. Now let's talk about another Eagles corner because Darius Slay had some interesting things to say. Shout out to Eagle Al here. Put this clip on Twitter. I'm guessing it's from a live stream because Slay definitely is involved in the digital media game and he live streams and he plays games and things like that. Definitely more outspoken than the normal player. And apparently Slay made a comment about Philadelphia and how this could be his last year. And we'll just take a listen to what he had to say.
Are you in Philly?
I'm on a guaranteed money one more, but then after that, okay. I won't become a free agent, but you know how that business is.
Yeah.
So Darius Slay says, I got one more year in Philly, but you know how the business is. Essentially translating it there, Howie Roseman is likely not going to extend me past the next year, right? He's trying to get younger. He's trying to build for the future. That's why you go and spend draft assets on the guys that you did, but let's not put it past Slay. Like, he is one of the best corners in this league still, in my opinion. Sure, he had some down games last year, but overall, this guy's an all-pro corner. He's talented, and like Eagle Al said, you know, we got to appreciate what Slay has brought to this team, that demeanor, right? And, you know, you got to push all the chips in and try to win it this year, especially with some of these vets who may not be here in the future. And big props to Darius Slay, big play Slay, for recognizing, you know, that he's not going to be here forever and that his career's not going to last forever. And just being cognizant of that, because I think that it makes it a little bit easier, you know, trying to play with some of these younger guys. It's not always like, oh, I know you're going to try to take my spot this year and I'm going to be salty about it and not try to develop those relationships. It seems like Slay is being a very good teammate here and he's realizing what's going on. Shoot, Bradbury may not even be here in a couple months. So Slay might have to be one of those big time mentors to step in for these other guys. And a lot of professionalism on his part, right? He almost left last year. I'm surprised he even got the contract to come back, but how he somehow worked his magic and got it done. But shout out to Darius Slay, and hopefully this is a good year if it is his final year in Philadelphia. Now, another corner in the Eagles secondary, shout out to Jake again. Cooper DeJean. This report was from Jeremy Fowler. Quote, they will likely start him on the outside and see what he can handle from there and are cognizant of giving him too many responsibilities too early despite his versatility. I think this is the right way to go. You don't want to flood Cooper DeJean, you know, with all these different plays and play sets to remember at a corner position, at a safety, and just overwhelm the kid. I agree. Coming into the NFL, completely different story, right? The game is completely different, and it's a one day at a time mentality. So I agree. Let Cooper DeJean go out there at corner, get some reps, see how he looks. Let him go out there at slot corner, see how he looks. Let him go out there, play some safety. You want to utilize his versatility, but you don't want to overload and overwhelm the guy right away and make him think, oh, I have to do all these different things. I have all these different responsibilities. I view him as more of a plug and play type of guy. You know, if somebody goes down early, or if they want to experiment with him at some different places, or maybe somebody starts off the year not playing well, we got Cooper DeJean waiting right in our back pocket. He doesn't have to play every game this year, but hey, maybe, you know, he can fill in for whoever's needed, right? If whoever's at slot corner starts off very weak, Cooper DeJean. If one of the safeties goes down, Cooper DeJean, right? So that's what I think they're going to do with him. And I agree with Jeremy Fowler that, you know, you don't want to overload him with responsibility. And he seems like a guy who's willing to work, go out there and leave it all on the field. And, you know, wherever they want to match him up, he's willing to go out there and try it. So shout out to Cooper DeJean. There have been reports as well of Quinyon Mitchell already looking really, really good in the lab. So maybe he ends up becoming corner two. And Cooper DeJean, you know, gets some snaps here in year one. I think one of the biggest things to keep in mind is that Howie Roseman is really changing the dynamic. You know, like the Eagles never would have drafted a corner. They never would have experimented in this way. And now they have a lot of new guys in the secondary. They're trying to rebuild that. They bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They're trying to establish that identity that obviously was not there last season. And even with the poor coaching, you know, an identity maybe could have saved this team. But everybody was looking around at each other. Everybody was looking at each other for the answer, and there just was none. So I like where this team's going. I like how Howie is viewing the secondary, not only in the now, but in the future as well. And it seems like they have some pretty good plans for these guys, and maybe a couple diamonds in the rough, maybe a couple gems, maybe a Shon Stevens, you know, could come out here and impress some people. Guess we'll just have to wait till training camp and see. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. As always, it's A to Z Sports Philly. Support the show, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.